what I'm saying? Yeah. But just feel free to just interject whenever you want to. You know?
You know? Oh, shit. I didn't hear the How's everybody doing out there today? We'd like to welcome you to Starving the System. This is the live internet show that gives you applicable, empowering information that will allow you to break free from anything or any system that wants to take your money and lock you up. I am your host, the Elohim, and I'm going to let you call me E. The same thing I let my Rock Hill, Port City, North Cat, Facebook, Twitter folks call me. And today, we are happy. I need you to get on your phones. I need you to get on whatever you're on, your computers, text, email, tweet. But let somebody know that we are on today live at 7. And this show is one of them shows where I just sit back because I don't know nothing. I just soak it all up because this is the sovereign Joseph Jones is back with us. I mean, this is the most sought after Starving the System show in the archive. This man blew it up when he came on the scene. So we're going to welcome him back, and we're talking about debt elimination. So I need you to let folks know about that because, boy, I don't know about you. Whew, I almost broke down just now, but I need some debt elimination in my life. I don't know about you. I need some. Peace, JB Peterson. I appreciate you out there, Charming Jerk. Got some folks out there that's always down with me. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And so we're going to get right into it. I want to welcome you back on the scene for the record.
Thank you. I'm happy. And before I get into anything, what I want to do, I want to give a shout out to E right here.
All right.
For this great show. I don't know if any of you out there are in any type of business or you have some type of marketing campaign you want to go into. This is the type of form or the type of technology that is great for whatever it is that you may be involved in. And E, he has helped me tremendously. Those shows that I did on his program, they really helped me with my business. As far as giving me exposure for customers in different states, you wouldn't believe it. So don't take some of the opportunities that a man like this can offer you for granted, because it can really change whatever that you're doing. And any other person that's out there who's also been in this show, you know what I'm talking about. So I just want to thank you, okay? I appreciate it. All right? And you're doing a service to the community. Your shows are always positive. They're always informative. You know, you're trying to do and uplift the community. And I know at times that can be kind of, drag you down because it may not seem like it's doing a lot. But believe me, you are a bright, shining star in the sky amidst a cloud that's hanging over this, our society. So, just keep doing what you're doing, brother, okay?
I appreciate that. I really appreciate that, man. And look, and it just equals out, man, because if this show helped you in any way, it's only in return for the way you helped the show with the kind of information you had that you brought. It spoke for itself. So, that's why it's the most highly, looked at show still to right now, and almost a year later. So I appreciate you, man, and it's good to have you back.
Okay, thanks.
I appreciate you tuning in. So let's talk about it, man. Debt elimination. We got to know. What do you mean when you say debt elimination? Because everybody think, are we talking about bankruptcy? He trying to tell me to refinance my house. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
First of all, I don't do any of that. Okay. Like I always say, I do not negotiate with terrorists. And that's what I feel like these so-called alleged creditors are, a.k.a. lending institutions, banks, are terrorists. The thing is that to understand true debt elimination, you have to understand the current monetary system that we have in this country. And it is largely debt-based. And a lot of people don't understand what I may mean when I say there is no money. People look at you like, well, ain't no money. It's like, yeah, man, what's this $100 bill? That's not money. All right. And you have to understand that first before you can even get into a position where you can start eliminating debt. That debt that you have is what's keeping you in slavery. It's keeping you from experiencing the life that you are supposed to live. You got to worry about your mortgage. You got to worry about your car note. You have to worry about credit card bills. You have to worry about utility bills and a lot of other things like that. And these things can kind of keep you down. And they need to be addressed so you can experience true freedom. And to do that, like a lot of my clients that come through the door and they're like, can you help me? They've heard about me or something like that. And now they've and they're not skeptical or anything like that, because they know, okay, they've because 100% of my clientele is referral based. I don't do any advertising. I don't do anything like that. I deal with private remedies, meaning I'm not trying to take you into a courtroom before a judge or anything like that to get rid of your debt problems. There are ways of doing that without going those routes, even with the current foreclosure crisis that's going on. There are ways out there. You may not know about it, but you may currently be facing foreclosure or dispossessory, or you're receiving letters from an attorney or something like that. Get in touch with me. I'll leave your number at the end of the show. But know that you need to answer those letters, because those people on the other end know that there's no money either, that there's not any money in our society. And what they're doing is there's only the presumption of debt. There's not real debt. Now, if you notice on those letters, the attorney will say, well, if you don't answer this in 30 days, we will assume that the debt is valid. Right. It's an assumption. All right. It's a presumption. And by operation of law, if you refuse to, when you have a duty to respond to something, now you go into default. Now they can take you into court and say, hey, look, this guy owes us some money. I can do the same thing with you. If I send you to them, I say, hey, look, I went to the moon, brought back some moon rocks. All right. And send you a letter and say, you owe me money for the moon rocks. You got 30 days to answer. And if you don't answer me in 30 days, guess what? You owe me money for moon rocks. Debt, right? You know what I'm saying? It's presumed by your silence that you owe me that money. And I can take that into court and I can show a judge, hey, look, I sent this guy a letter. I told him he owed me this money. He didn't mail anything back. He didn't say anything. He owes me the money. And the judge is going to presume that you owe the money unless you do something what can be able to rebut that presumption. And there are actually public laws, statutory codes that regulate that, as well as private remedies that you can get into that will assist you with that as well. And I deal primarily with the private side. And what I do is called a discharge of your debt, similar to a bankruptcy. I don't pay off your debt. And I will tell you this, to start doing your research, what you need to do is get on the internet and you need to start Googling House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10. This is where it all starts. This is what gives you the right to get rid of your debt. And when you Google that, you're going to see a lot of things pop up on the screen.
Can you say that again a little bit slower? House Resolution.
House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10. Okay. Now, what was this law? This House Joint Resolution? Well,
Be Pure asked to please repeat that. Peace, Miss J and Kahiri. I appreciate that to y'all. Oh, and I want to say real quick, we are taking off from a 4-part series to Introduction to Sovereignty. So if you haven't seen that, you need to go back and you'll understand a lot more why he's jumping off, starting a conversation with, you need to understand there is no money, because we went through that. Yeah. So you need to do your homework after the show and get back, update yourself. That's what we need you to do. So look, and before, because I didn't tell my producer Al there, we are not doing the clothing food drive as of right now that we usually. I need to say this now because I will forget. I don't have it written down nowhere. We're not doing the clothing food drive this Saturday like we did the Saturday before and the Saturday before, because basically the owner of the car wash kicked us out. He kicked us out. Dude, they want us there. So hey, anyway, so we figured out another spot. We're gonna cancel that. I need to say that. So back to where we was at.
Okay, see somebody House Joint
right. Resolution.
Wherever you are, that's
June
correct.
133.
73-10. That's absolutely 100% correct. And when you pull that up, if you can also Google it, put that in and put a comma, then put discharge debt, and you're gonna see a plethora of information spring up on the screen that talks about this particular law, because this is the centerpiece, this is the fulcrum, this is the nexus between everything that we're doing in eliminating debt. This is your right to elimination of debt. Now, what is this law that we're talking about? Well, what it is that what happened is in 1933, we had the Great Depression. And some of you may or may not be familiar with that. They talk about it in high school. They talk about the New Deal. And we kind of glossed over it, and they really didn't get into any of the specifics of the significance of what happened and how it was applicable to us. And they do that purpose. All they want to say is, well, we told you about it. taught it in high school, or something. They plausible deniability. But what happened during that time is that we had the Great Depression, and this was caused by the Federal Reserve. I could give you the background to the Great Depression, but we don't have time for that. But we'll just start right there. And Franklin Delano Roosevelt was the president at the time. And what he did was he passed a law, and this is the law right here, where he removed us from the gold standard, meaning now your money is not backed by gold or silver, which the Constitution of the United States, which is the supreme law of the land, will tell you what is real money, and that's gold and silver. And that's also the reason why you're seeing all these gold, we buy gold places on every corner, because those guys, you go up there and talk to them, they know what's going on. They call people who sell their gold to these places sheep. I'm telling y'all out there, okay? You selling your gold to these places, you're damn fool. All right? Keep your gold. That is the money. Do not give your gold to these places, okay? That is real money. All right? Not paper money. That paper money is worthless pieces of paper. They also got you into this platinum thing. And now gold is worth more than platinum. Gold has always been the most important metal on the planet. The kings in antiquity wore gold. You don't hear them talking about platinum or anything like that. They're talking about gold. Not to say that platinum is not a valuable element, but it's not like gold, and it doesn't have the value that gold has. All right.
It sound more valuable. Gold. But anyway. Okay.
Well, gold. So what happened was in 1933, they stole the gold. Because what used to happen, let me give you a little scenario. What used to happen let's say in the Old West, you up in the mountain, you're digging out the gold, because gold was money. So we would dig the gold out of the mountain, taking it to what's called an assayer, and he would coin it for us, and he would put it in circulation. All right. So now, of course, we didn't want to walk around with all this gold on us. So we would take it to this other guy, let's say E. He's smart young man. He said, well, hey, look, I'm going to build a building. I'm going to put some bars on it, and all of you can keep the gold in that building. So I keep my gold. I got me about 5 pounds of gold I dug out the ground. I spent up 6 months in the mountain and dug up all this gold, and I take it to E. Right. And he said, okay, here is a receipt for your gold, Joe. You can come back, and I will give you 5 pounds of gold for the gold that you just gave me. Cool. It's better carrying the receipt than carrying all the gold. And he got his boys. They got them things and everything. Somebody come in and try to take the gold. Right. Wow. That's the thing right there. So you got security. So my gold is safe with E. Now I'm walking around with a receipt in my hand, and I see you got a horse, and I come up to you and say, look, I want to buy your horse. I got a receipt here for 5 pounds of gold in the bank over there. I'll give you the receipt. You can go and get the gold and give me the horse. And of course, you've seen these receipts before. And you say, okay, that's cool. That's all right. So you take the receipt, give me the horse, and you go on. But do you go get the gold? No, you don't go get the gold, because you see him. He has a wagon. So you go over to him and say, look, I have a receipt for 5 pounds of gold. I'll give you the receipt, and you go and get the gold and give me the wagon. All right. This, of course, if you are astute, was the beginning of money.
It keeps going.
Keeps going. Because now he is sitting back looking at everybody say, don't nobody want no gold. Right. Nobody come. You got all this gold accumulating, and you passing out receipts, and all everybody's doing out there is passing around receipts. So what you gonna do with the gold, E?
I'm gonna start spending some of that gold. Just a little bit of the gold. I'm gonna spend a little bit of the gold.
You're gonna start investing it, maybe buy some buildings and everything. You're gonna start doing some things. Now here's the thing, E, also. Now, you good because everybody got 5 pound receipts, but what? You only need to keep enough gold to show them that you have some gold, just because they all ain't gonna come back and get the gold at the same time. So you just need to keep enough gold on hand just in case somebody do come back to get some gold. You got some gold to give them.
Just some flash gold. I just need some flash gold.
You just need some flash gold. So you out the back door building skyscrapers and, airports and, things like that. And, we just circulating the paper. So now what happens in 1933? Well, what happens in 1933 is E and his boys get together. Because he got the money now. He's known as a banker now. He has political power. And they get together and say, you know what? Let's just pass a law and say that they can keep that paper and they can't go back and get their gold. So he just passed the law. He said, y'all don't need to go nowhere. You don't never come and get it. You don't want it. All you care about what the paper can do. So we're going to pass a law to make it illegal for you to come back and redeem your gold. That's what House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10, and Title 31-501-AD2 was all about. Was those things right there. You cannot go get your gold. So they stole the gold. It's the biggest gold heist in history. The biggest. They stole the gold. All right? You can't have it. Now they're stealing some more. They don't even want you wearing it. I saw a speech by Paul Warburg in the early 1800s, early 1900s. You look it up. He said that the citizens were wasting the gold in their pocket. It was wasteful, but to let average people keep gold in their pocket. So this is what they're thinking about. So now, after 1933, though, they had to do something because, you know, they know they stole the gold, but they had to give you something back. They said, look, okay, we're going to steal the gold, but we're going to make it where every American citizen in the country don't have to pay for nothing. In other words, you're going to get an exemption from having to pay for debts. We're going to do what's called a set-off. Now, you need to Google that word. It's called a set-off or offset. Okay, that is a legal term. All right, what that means is this. If E owes me, I owe you $500, and I go read his house. And let's say E owes me $500, and I go read his house. And I knock over E's vase, and his vase is $450. And E said, well, look, Joe, you know, that $500 owe you, just knock off $450 on that. I would call, you know, and say, okay, cool. But then later on, I come and say, no, forget that. I'm taking E because I want my $500. E can take me to court and say, look, I want to set off because he owes me something too. And that's what the federal government does. When they come to you claiming that you owe them some money, in actuality, they owe you because they stole this and have never given it back. And now they got the Federal Reserve, which, FYI, for your information, the Federal Reserve is not a governmental entity. That's why they don't like your boy Ron Paul, because he's all up there every chance he get, he telling y'all that, and y'all ain't hearing the man. He's probably the most honest politician we have, is Ron Paul. But most people don't understand what he's talking about, though. You know, they don't understand what he's talking about, the Federal Reserve.
More Ron, honest politician.
Well, yeah, it was kind of. But believe it or not,
Ron Paul for that aspect of his game.
I've seen Ron Paul say some things, and I'm surprised he's still walking around.
By the IRS and Federal Reserve, definitely. So, you know.
Right, you know, and he goes in with Ben Bernanke. But the thing is the Federal Reserve is not a governmental entity; it's a private bank, just like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, any of those. All right, they are a private entity, just like Federal Express. That was just a marketing tool. They call themselves Federal Express because they were trying to compete with the post office. So they had to give you the impression in your mind that they were some type of governmental agency, and which meant it was that would mean that you would make sure that their packages would get delivered. Right. When they're just a private mail carrier, that's what they're called, a private mail carrier. But it's the same thing with the bank. When you start studying money, you'll see that our old money was issued by the United States Treasury, and they would have what's called gold certificates or silver certificates, meaning that you could take that gold certificate to the United States Treasury, and they'd have to give you gold, or you could take one of those silver certificates to the Treasury, and they give you silver. You can't do that anymore. You can't redeem it for anything. The only reason your money is worth anything is because y'all believe it's worth something. That's it. Now, it is backed by something, because if you want to look on your money, you'll see those little serial numbers on it. Those serial numbers correspond to the numbers that are on the back of your Social Security card. That's because every time a baby is born in this country, all right, they have to issue or print money. It's just like the game of Monopoly. And by the way, the game Monopoly came out in 1936. The game Monopoly, when you have a new player come on the board, you got to give them $1,500. You have to have some money to circulate into the game. You can't get in the game and you ain't put no money in the pot. So that's the same thing. When a baby is born, they have to print money for that particular baby. So it'd be some money in circulation for you that you'll have access to. All right? That's how it's printed, and it's guaranteed, and that's what those serial numbers on that money are for. It represents you. Gives new meaning to illegal aliens, too. Now, do you really want somebody coming from another country, grabbing some paper up and leaving out of the country and it got your serial numbers on it? kind of gives you enough spin on it. Makes you think, okay, I see what's going on. They are kind of affecting the economy. Yes, they are. By coming over here and working and not reporting, they don't have a social security number or anything like that, and they're taking money out of the economy and taking it back to their country. It does hurt our economy. All right? And that don't have anything to do with illegal aliens or anything. I don't have anything against anybody, but facts are facts. And people need to start realizing how the monetary system operates in this country. But back to the subject. The reason you have a right for an offset of the debt, now you need to know how to correspond with the government properly and tell them that you wish to take advantage of laws that are on the books that give you the right to get rid of your debt. And they don't want you to know about that. They do everything in their power to keep that a secret from you. You'll see on the internet, oh, this is illegal. Oh, this is fraudulent. They'll never tell you what is fraudulent or what is illegal. You know, because there's a lot of people finding out about this. We're in the age of information. So they have a smear campaign that's going on. And for the person who's not enlightened or who doesn't know, it works on them. You know, they get on the internet. They see, oh, this is illegal. You can't do that. And then they're out the way. And they have done their job. But to the individual that reads, looks up words, investigates, maybe makes a trip or two to the law library, makes a phone call or two to the IRS to find out some information, you know that what they're putting on the internet is some BS.
So let me ask you this. So you have clients, you actually have a business, and your business is to do what exactly with what type of clients?
I privately assist select clients who are in need of assisting them with maintaining their possession of their assets. And that would include their homes, their automobiles, things of that nature. I don't know if people realize it or not. They don't advertise it. Obama just passed a law now where they have to do principal reductions now. I didn't get a chance to look at it, but Obama understands what is going on. Obama is a good president. His hands are tied because the American people are apathetic and ignorant. It isn't. You need to stop thinking that a president is going to change something for you. You have to be responsible. And that's what the private side is all about. The private side is about responsibility. The public side is about people who are ignorant, people who are lazy, people who are slaves. That's why people complain about public education. Anything that's dealing with the public is meant to serve the private. So if you're going to operate on the private side, you have to educate yourself. You have to be responsible. That's what it's all about. Stop blaming the president. Stop blaming your congresspeople. You put them in office. You are allowing them to do what they're doing. You're not saying anything. You're letting them take your rights. You're not getting involved. You're not taking the initiative. That's what's going on. You're not educating yourself. You refuse to pick up a book and read. You refuse to make the trip to that law library and understand what is going on. You are expecting someone else to do what you are supposed to do. And that is what's going on in this country. It's not, and it's not the political fault, it's y'all's fault. Out there in TV land. All right?
So hold on, so let me ask you this. So, and I feel exactly, that's what this is all about. Empowerment, do for self. That's what the show is about. We have to learn to do for self. But, so let me ask you, so there's people that come to you with, like, your average, or if you have an average client, they come to you, I got student loans, my house about to be in foreclosure, I got 4 payments behind on my car. You actually enable these people to keep these things, not a bankruptcy.
Let me tell you something. The pen is mightier than the sword. But you can break the word sword down to S word, which means spoken word is what they were trying to say. The pen is mightier than the spoken word. There's a legal maxim that says the spoken word flies out the window, the written word remains forever. In other words, that paper and pen is mighty. All right? Once you learn how to write letters, and see, a lot of y'all think that y'all eliminate debt by getting on the phone. This is something that I have to say. You don't talk to debt collectors on the phone. Period. Ever. I'm going to call the bank and see if they'll work something out. They ain't finna work nothing out with you. They want your house. And they want to make another promissory note. And they don't care if you're a woman, single woman with 5 kids. They're gonna send the sheriff to your house and kick you on the street. Period. All right? So stop trying to negotiate with these people. You need on the phone. You need to put this in writing, and that is what I do. There are certain ways that you can correspond with debt collectors and get them to do certain things. So now you have evidence. When you put things in writing, now you have evidence that if you do need to go to court, that you can present in court. Now you got a legal leg to stand on. But you just calling on the phone and saying, hey, look, I need to work out something with you or something like that. And next thing they say, yeah. Then next week they foreclose on you, call them back. Well, I thought y'all agreed to do so and so and so and so. You don't even remember the person you talked to. All right. When a debt collector calls you on the phone, this is exactly how you handle it. Yes. May I speak to Mr. Jones? You don't ever answer to your name. Who is this? This is Jill with Bank of America. Jill? Jill who? I'm sorry, sir, I can't give you my last name. Well, Jill, I'm sorry, I can't do business over the phone with people I don't know. I just told you I work for Bank of America. Well, I'm sorry, that doesn't mean anything to me. We're talking on the phone. I need your last name. Well, sir, I can't give you my last name. I can give you my number. Well, I told you I don't do business with numbers or anything like that. I need your last name, or sir, I need to hang up. Let me get something in writing. You want to speak to me, send it in writing. And they're going to try to keep you on the phone. And then you go to this. Well, Jill, let me get your social security number. If they give you your last, if she said, well, my name is Jill Johnson. Well, Jill Johnson, can you have your social security number? Well, why do you need my social security number? Well, I need your social security number because I need to identify who I'm talking with. They're doing the same thing to you. They call you on the phone, have your name, birth date, social security number. This conversation is being recorded. You need to tell them this conversation is being recorded. And they say, well, we're not you. I don't approve you being recorded. It doesn't matter if they approve. They called you. You didn't call them. All right. So you don't give them any information.
Is that the law? You can record whoever calls you?
I mean, they called you and you just told them you don't do business over the phone. They don't want to get off the phone. So obviously now they're breaking the law, because when you tell a debt collector that you don't want to, that you do not wish to be called, and they continue to be calling, you need some type of evidence. So record the phone call, record the conversation, and watch how fast they jump off the phone. These debt collectors know they're doing fraud. They know they're doing fraud, okay? And what they're doing is they're trying to get you into a contract. And most people don't understand there's such thing as a written contract, and there's such thing as a verbal contract. And that's why they're recording the conversation, because they're getting you into a contract. They're getting you to acquiesce. They're getting you to agree to something you may not even understand you're agreeing to. So I'm going to leave you with this, because our time is running out. House Joint Resolution 192 of June 5th, 1933, Public Law 73-10. I want all of you out there to start researching the activities that went around on that. You're going to see a lot of sovereign information spring up on that. You're going to see some websites maybe pop up saying that we can eliminate your debt and all these different type of things. You're going to see a lot of things spring up. But what I want you to do is I want you to start studying that, and I want you to start studying and Google administrative process. Start Googling those two words, and you're going to start, a plethora of information is going to start springing up, and you'll start giving you an understanding and empowering you of how to eliminate your debt. You can do it yourself. Take a little time to learn about it. You have to call somebody like me, but you can do it. But take the time to start learning and start to free yourself and stop groveling in your house, afraid to pick up the phone or anything like that. Empower yourself. Your house is already paid for. Your car is already paid for. You just don't know it.
And this is this kind of stuff you do for people all the time, all year round. This is your job. It's not like it's illegal. People come see. A lot of people get a stigma is people start thinking, you're going to get arrested and all that kind of crazy thought because people
that's one thing is fear is their biggest weapon. What people have to understand is police and federal agencies are public servants. They're here to serve you. All right? They're not your masters. That's another thing you need to stop, allowing these people to be your masters. They're public servants. They have bonds. They took an oath of office. They swore to serve you. No, this is not anything illegal. You have rights to these things, and you don't ask for your rights. You demand your rights. Rights don't come from government. Rights come from God. That's what we got them for. They're here to protect our God-given rights. They're not here to be masters or anything like that. You need to know your rights, because if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. Rights come from God, not from another man, not from a judge in a black robe, not from a guy got a badge on his chest with a blue shirt on, not from any guy, not any of the alphabet boys or anything. They're not your masters. They're here to serve you. But they will serve you once you start walking and acting in a responsible manner where you are somebody worthy of being served.
All goes back to knowing thyself, I guess.
That's right. With that.
Well, look, man, I appreciate this first installment. For the record, we're going to have you come back.
Okay, we're going to come back. I'm going to come. I know we need to get us some money. Like, well, he didn't tell us anything, but I gave you the 2 important pieces of information.
We need some foundation before we go any further. So we're gonna start with that. Then I guess we'll discuss what that entailed, those 2 things that you asked them to study, and we build on the next.
Yeah, we can do that. We build on it. That's a good way to start, and then from there we can go into administrative process, tell you how to correspond through the post offices of UPU, Universal Postal Union in Bern, Switzerland. Google it. There's a document on the internet called Postal Power. Pull it up. Read it. It's called Postal Power. Google it. Read the entire document.
All right. Well, there you have it. Tell people about the show. Tell them we'll be on live next week where we're going to pick this up, part 2, with Mr. Joseph Jones. Y'all be safe, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in.